Market direction is so important that we always talk about it first. The market's direction affects about 80% of the stocks in the market. Is the market moving in the direction you're trading? Actually, what really moves markets? We talk about the three things that move markets globally. What is the government doing to keep the market going? Is it working? Come, learn how to effectively trade the current market's condition. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our YouTube live channel, VectorVest Trending Thursdays. My name is Glenn Tompkins, Senior Instructor here at VectorVest. If you can hear me, by all means, please respond in the affirmative, preferably with VV Nation. Cheryl asks a question real quick. What can I expect from this? Well, for anyone who's joining me for the first time, our YouTube Trending Thursday is all about stocks making the news. And we use the power of the VectorVest software to analyze those stocks to make decisions on whether they were newsworthy stocks and if they were stocks that you might want to either get into or stay away from. So that's what we do here on Trending Thursday. It is all about what's making the news. And, you know, like I said, sometimes you'll find good stocks you want to get into. Sometimes you'll find some stocks you definitely want to stay away from. But some of these are stocks that you may be in as well, all right? Yes, thought should let Glenn know there are some people waiting elsewhere. Oh, and Alex. So Alex was saying that when you go to sign up or set an alert for the Trending Thursdays, always check the date. We have them out more than a week. We have the current week and then the following week up there. So you can set your alert for either or, just to let you know. So that's the answer for you, Alex, as well. Don't put stocks in today. Today, we're going to have a big surprise after our stocks of interest. So today, don't put stocks in yet. I'm going to introduce a new segment. So make sure you're here for the end of the presentation because we're going to start, like I said, a new section or a new segment. And I'm going to need some feedback from you to help me proceed with that. All right. And Wheaty, did I say that right? Y-Tie or Wheaty says, oh, I love surprises. So, sir, 3 top stocks to buy now. Manoj, that's not what we do. But I will give you a stock pick for the week. I am starting to do that. I will give you one stock pick for the week. My job is to teach you about how to utilize the news, primarily to utilize the software to help you to make better decisions. We do use the VectorVest software. And if you are not a VectorVest subscriber, Joey will put a link out there for you to take a trial to the VectorVest software for 99 cents for 30 days. So that's something that's out there if you want to take advantage of, but it still primarily revolves around using VectorVest to make decisions. How many of you like our new thumb, our new background? Joey will let me know. This is new. We're starting to incorporate other new things as well. So I like this background for the Trending Thursdays. Makes it look like I'm sitting in the middle of a city somewhere. Joey, you know what city this is? Good. So, by the way, Joey is my producer. Say hi, Joey.
Hi, Joey.
There you go. He's the guy in the background that makes me look good. He doesn't have much of a job to have to do for that because, look at me. It's almost perfection, right? Yeah. And if you got something to say, Joey, you know what I have to say to you? That's absolutely right. All right, so as you can see, I have my own soundboard as well, so I'll utilize some sounds. This is all about fun, but you're going to get a lot of great information out of it. All right, so let's start off. We always start off with looking at market timing. No matter what is in the news, no matter what anything is going on, it's always market timing. So let me get us into the homepage of the VectorVest software. This is where we start our market overview. This is where we get a feel of what's going on in the market. And VectorVest has a lot of tools at your disposal to help you to make better decisions, keep you more focused instead of sitting on the swivel trying to decide or determine what to do. All right, so as we look at our homepage, we are using the VectorVest real-time service so we can see what's going on with all of the major indices right here. All of them, with the exception of our VectorVest composite, are all up today, but not by a lot. I'll explain why that is in a second. The Dow is up about 0.3%. The biggest mover right now is the S&P 100, up almost 0.7%. The S&P 500 up about 0.3%, the NASDAQ up 0.6%, and our mighty VectorVest composite is down almost 0.3%. Well, how can that be? Well, keep in mind that the VectorVest composite is an indexed arithmetic average of all of the stocks that we track, and currently in the database we track 8,216 stocks. This price of $50.16 is an indexed arithmetic average of all of these stocks. So we use this indicator, the VVC, primarily for timing the market. Now, if you're new, when we talk about timing the market, we don't predict which way the market is going to go. We stay on top of the trend of the market and keep you guys on the right side of the trend. Let's move over and look at our color guard. This is one of our traffic lights into the market. This looks at today. Our color guard is neutral, and VectorVest does advocate, as of right now, caution when buying stocks at this time. Well, let's talk about the 6-day traffic light into the market called the color guard. And the color guard tracks 3 of our market timing indicators. Price, which is again that price of the VectorVest composite. We track its trend on both the week-over-week and day-over-day basis. RT, which looks at the short-term price trend of the market and is cast on a scale between 0 and 2. Above 1 is favorable, below 1 is unfavorable. RT at the value of 1.10 tells me that the market is still in an uptrend right now. And then every stock in our database does get a buy, sell, or hold recommendation every day. We have a ratio called the BSR, or buy to sell ratio, which looks at the relationship of buy recommendations divided by sells. At 2.66, we're saying that for every sell in the system, we have over 2.5 buys. So the market is showing signs of strength. Now we look at the colors within this color guard. What's the predominant color you see? Well, 3, 6, 8, 11 yellow lights, and that means that we have 7 green. So from a traffic light perspective, more yellow than green. What do you do in a current market like this? You slow down. You want to speed up, don't you?
Yeah.
Joey, I'm surprised you have a license. All right, but Joey wants to speed up. But technically, when you get to a yellow light, what do? Slow down. In this market, even though there's a bullish tinge in the market, I'm going to tell you to just be careful. All right, take advantage of the up days. All right, but also notice that we have an indicator called the MTI, the market timing indicator, which also has a level where the market is starting to look for a top. When this indicator, which is cast on a scale between 0 and 2, is at the level of 1.5 to 1.6, the market is looking for a top. So given all of the yellow lights, we have the MTI looking for a top. This is a good time to be cautious in the market. Now that we've got a feel of what's going on from a trend perspective, is it okay or not okay to buy stocks? Caution means it's okay to buy as long as the market is moving up, all right? Let's talk about why the market is showing the characteristics that it is right now. Folks, before I get into my market overview stories, keep in mind there's 3 things that move markets globally: earnings, interest, and inflation. Earnings. When a company meets or exceeds its earnings, it has more money in its pockets to do other things. When interest and inflation are low, that's good for a company as well. Low interest rates means they can borrow money and pay it back at a lower price or at a lower rate. And if inflation is low, costs for goods are cheaper, right? Now, earnings is the good guys. Inflation and interest rates are the bad guys. Right now, inflation, the Fed says that inflation is still well in line. All right, I know that when I go to the store, I'm spending a little bit more money on my food. All right, it is what it is. Interest rates are still historically low, and they will stay that way to help keep the economy afloat. All right, we all know that we're in a pandemic. The pandemic has affected the market in an adverse way, so the Fed is doing everything that it can to keep the market afloat. So let's start to get into the stories which cover what's going on in the market. My first story talks about the U.S. will borrow an estimated $2 trillion $2 trillion in the second half of 2020. Woo! Estimates assume Congress will pass $1 trillion of additional stimulus. There's a lot of stimulus that's out there. All of this is helping to buoy the economy, to keep the economy afloat, even though the pandemic has had an adverse effect on the market. As we scroll down a little bit more, the U.S. expects to borrow an additional $2 trillion in the second half of the year as federal spending ramps up to combat the coronavirus pandemic, the Treasury Department said on Monday. The department estimated the government would borrow $947 billion from July through September, a record for the quarter, bringing the total borrowing for the fiscal year up to $4.5 trillion. Hey, Joey, how many numbers is trillion? A lot of numbers. I agree. A lot of zeros. And it's in line with earlier estimates. All right. So keep in mind that a lot of stuff is being put out there. We have another stimulus package that's in the works. Congress is working on to continue adding the $600 to the unemployment. Is that there or is that not there? Without it being there, that could affect the economy in an adverse way. The president also said that if he can't get the order come through Congress, he may do his own executive order. All of this is in line to try to keep the market going. Now, there's another story that I have here. The record-setting jobs comeback looks like it could be coming to an abrupt halt. Why? Well, we already know we tried to do a reopening across the country, and we had a resurgence of coronavirus cases. That is affecting jobs. Now, the Fed's job is to make sure that jobs are good and that interest rates are in line to keep the market going. Well, interest rates are still at historic lows, all right? So, and they're being very dovish about keeping it low. They're saying that they're going to keep interest rates the way they are going probably into 2022. That's a long time from now to make sure that the market is going. And the jobs, the jobs were doing good after we started reopening, and then after the resurgence, a lot of companies closed down again. A lot of restaurants, you go out to a restaurant now, it's only 50% at capacity, right? So it makes it tough. So the record-setting jobs comeback looks like it's coming to an abrupt halt. Consensus expectations are that 1.26 million jobs were added in July. However, some economists say that signs are increasing that the number could be well below that, even negative. That would come after a record-setting job creation that saw 7.5 million jobs added over the previous 2 months when we started to open back up again. So, no matter which camp you're in, whether we should reopen or don't reopen, it doesn't matter. What needs to be done is what needs to be done, and everybody will follow right in line with what's going on with your particular state. So those are the things about the borrowing of the money, the jobs. Now let's get back into the software, and I am going to go to our watch list of stocks. And where am I going to go? I'm going to go here. Here's our watch list of stocks. Every week we create a watch list of the stocks that we're going to talk about. This week, here they are for 8/6/2020. The first two stocks that I always look at for the market are, if you are a VectorVest subscriber, we want you to look at the VVC, which is what we use for tracking the market. And if you're not a subscriber to the software, we're always going to look at the spiders, the S&P 500. Let's go take a look at their graphs. Let's get a feel of what's going on in the market. View the stock graph. Bring this up a little bit. I always like to look at the last 3 months, because in the last 3 months of every 3 months, you have earnings coming out. I always want the earnings picture to be in my graph. Here's the VectorVest Composite. Definitely rising higher. Love that. Doing so on good volume overall on that VVC. Today is a little bit of a down day on that VectorVest Composite. It's okay. One day doesn't make a trend, but the market overall, tracking over 8,200 stocks, is definitely moving higher. But as a VectorVest subscriber, we do have that indicator, the MTI. I'm going to add another graph. Let's go put on the market timing graph this time, where I can add the MTI. All right, there's the 3-month graph. Let's go add on the MTI, or the market timing indicator. Remember I told you when it gets to a level of about 1.5 to 1.6, the market's looking for a top? The market has been toppy since mid-May. What does that tell you? This is a time to be careful. You ever heard the song, "What goes up must come down. Do-do-do-do. Remember that song? Yes, I'm dating myself. But what goes up must come down. The market, from a VectorVest perspective, is telling you that we're looking for a top. When it's going to happen, we don't know, but the market is looking toppy. That's why a lot of caution is advised, but not telling you not to take advantage of the good up days when the days are up, but only buy stocks when the market's moving higher. All right, let's move over to the S&P 500 or the spiders. Nice up day on today's candle. Now, this is something that catches my attention about the spiders. Let's draw a freehand line from this low. All right, there's the market moving higher. All right, so that indicator that looks at the short-term price trend of the market. What am I doing? Let's make that a little darker. The short-term price trend of the market, which is the relative timing. All right, not only that, what else is on here? Volume. What's going on with volume over this last little period as well? Well, volume is doing what? Trending slightly down. Do you guys know what that's called? That's called a bearish divergence between volume and the price of the S&P 500. Another reason to have heads-up mentality when investing in this market right now. Volume is conviction. When I'm seeing a stock or an indice or an index like the S&P 500 going up, I want the volume to be rising with it. See back here when the market was rising? Look at the rise in volume as well. Volume is conviction. Volume is conviction. Joey, you need to put this in the video. Just like this. Volume is conviction. That is very important. Now, as I watch that and the volume is falling, all I'm telling you, between the VectorVest composite with all of the software with all of the yellow and the color guard and the S&P 500 spiders going up and volume going down, folks, be cautious in the market. All right, and that takes care of my market overview. What do you do currently right now? Take advantage of the up days. Only buy on the days when the market is going up, number one. Number two, don't back up the truck to try to get all your money into the market. And number three, don't be afraid to take profits early. All right, don't be afraid to take profits off the table. In a time when the market's looking toppy, take your money, get it, and run.